such a bad idea if I never went home again. Stand as far away from me as you can and ask me why. Hang on to your rosy beads, close your eyes to watch me die. You keep saying, kick it, quit it, God, but did you ever try to turn your sick soul inside out so that the world can watch you die?
Home is where the hatred is. That's Gil Scott-Heron. We're going to have to do a segment about Gil and other black prominent people from the past who really gave us a message to move ahead, no matter how they wound up dying in ways that were less than honorable, but still we honor them. It's Thursday. We're here again. We're on time today. Hopefully I get all my editing work done here. I believe I do. And we're going to be on schedule today because OKC is playing the Spurs, and probably a lot of you guys are probably watching the game. I got it playing in the background, but you can't see it. So we're going to get right into the show today. First, we're going to do our advertisements. As always, we will start off with King's Cubby Daycare, 773-437-5108, accepting children 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I guess that's Monday through Friday. Give them a call or visit them on kingscubbydaycare.com and get some information. I believe they have a video tour also available there. So check them out. Rochelle Millsap, Remax Agent, Residential Needs, 773-716-5541. Give her a call. Kevin Character King, he's spoken word artist. He's got a CD out on iTunes and CD Baby called I Am Character. He also has a book called Character's Book of Poetry, which is available on Amazon. Let me share a quick clip with you of his work.
I see new faces in old places. Places I grew up called home. And these faces in old places are faces not of my skin tone. Yet they come from various places, do these faces, to purchase themselves new spaces in these vacant places, which have now been renovated, upgraded, upscaled, and updated.
Check him out. Kevin has a son who is also an entertainer. It goes by the name of Sharif. He has a album out, self-titled, called Sharif. It's got a nice mix of different types of sounds. A little slow, a little house, a little New World Order. I'll give you a quick sample and we will move on.
I know you want to see me go home alone. I'm done waiting. I know you want to see me go home alone. I'm done waiting. And this hurts so bad I can't breathe on my own.
Go out, get that album. It's self-titled Sharif, available on Amazon and iTunes, and it's a reasonable price, $8.99. One more business, new business. Let's clap. New business, advertising. It is called Heroes Sports Bar and Grill. It's here in Chicago. Well, Poston, Illinois. Me and my wife just recently attended a 50th birthday celebration for a friend of mine. You know, you always want to get out, and this happens to be black owned by another one of my friends, mate, and they're trying to do something. So support black businesses, like we always say. That is the theme of our show. And last but not least, let's not forget, I am Richard Robinson, owner and operator of RPC Computing, located in Lansing, Illinois, 773-416-2955. For all your computing needs, give us a call. We also do audio tape conversions. We do slideshow creations and a myriad of things that you may want to have done. 773-416-2955. We have one more thing that we've been doing on a weekly basis now, and you know, some people may say it's kind of morbid, but we're going to do it, and it's the murder count. Here in Chicago, Tuesday's count was 211. We added 3 more to the total this morning, plus what was already there. We are now at 217. We're averaging about 10 to 16 murders a week here in Chicago. And that's ridiculous. This morning it was a triple homicide, and I heard that the gunman killed himself also. I didn't have time really to follow up on it, but that's what I heard. You know, let's pray for our city here. Today's topic is called white silence, and it was brought about by a few conversations that I was having, and I was at a site called debate.org, and they did a poll of should the U.S. pay reparations for slavery, and 60% of the white people said no, and 40% said yes. And I said, why are they even getting a vote? You're going to vote on this country's criminal activity toward us and what we should get for it? And see, then that becomes the problem. And this systemic problem that we deal with is deeper than anything, and we pay a higher cost than anything. Because they figure if they stay silent, everything's cool. Status quo. Go along. No discomfort to us. So why were they even getting a vote from them is beyond me. But it is what it is. And I've got white friends, and these shows, like I always say, aren't meant to offend you, but I have a right to voice an honest black opinion and not be subjugated to your stares and disbelief, because the truth is the truth. I had a situation today. Actually got my annual review, and I didn't sign it because it was a bunch of bull. Period. You know, you're not going to create situations then hope that everybody stays quiet, because when everybody benefits from something I do except me, that's a problem for me. And so you make that statement, you say, I'm not signing for it. I don't agree with what you wrote here. It is what it is. So this white silence is about white people, even your friends that stand around on your job or in other scenarios and keep their mouths shut when injustices are going on. Well, should they put their It's on the line for us when it comes to their job. Oh, no, you don't have to put your neck on the line. But if you accept the job, then you have accepted your white privilege. You've stepped in where you really hadn't done anything to step in, but you step in and you do what you do. One of the interesting things about self-privilege, but before I get into that, I was looking at the Paul Laurence Dunbar "We Wear the Mask" speech. We wear the mask that grins and lies, that hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. Is that we pay to human guile, with tongues and bleeding hearts we smile, and a mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be otherwise? We wear the mask so we can feed our kids, so we can have a decent place to live, or decent by our standards. We got to come in here and tap dance and go along with what you say and what you do, no matter how fucked up it is, no matter how unequal it is, no matter how unjust it is. And then when we speak up in any way about anything, we're persecuted. It's a damn shame, right? But a lot of it is our fault, because instead of speaking up, we keep our mouths shut and we go along to get along, and we never make any progress. This is one of the biggest people with black people. We can't stand up because we got so much tied into the system that we have integrated ourselves into. You're so tied in with this massa, it's hard to do anything else, because they're pulling the strings, and they're controlling it. What's the matter with white people? And it's not all white people. Of course not. There are some fair-minded white folks out there. But I know they also know some unfair-minded white folks. They know some bull crap that goes on. As like I said, I had to explain today, you want me to do this, this, and this, and this, which from day one, I was already doing these things. I'm the lead in this office, period. I was the lead before this person showed up. I was the lead when this person got demoted, when this person got demoted. So how does everybody get promoted over me based on, oh, let me tell you, I feel they deserve it. They deserve it. That's your excuse? I don't want him to feel bad about his demotion. What? There are no requirements for that position. So basically, you working hard doesn't mean a damn thing for us. We put in these positions who we want to put in these positions. And they all going to be quiet, because this helps them. This gives them a career. This builds them up. This doesn't do anything for you. And if you don't like it, then you can go to another plantation. Damn shame, right? So your multiple degrees don't mean shit when you run into that person. You can't get a job because that person, that type of attitude, wants to keep you down and don't have a voice to speak up. It's amazing the craziness we go through in life and accept to feed our children. I had a situation one night, and I worked 16 hours on a project, and my job had rented a section of rooms at the Palmer House Hotel here in Chicago. Real exclusive place at that time, or they still try to be. So I go to my white boss and I say, hey, I know this is going to sound crazy to you. Can you call to the Palmer House and let them know I'm coming? My room is reserved and everything. What are you talking about? We got a block of rooms. It's going to be okay. I say, please call. No, I'm not going to call. Just go. It's going to be okay. I get to the Palmer House. I give them my company name. I give them my name. And they say, yes, your company has a block of rooms here, but we don't see one for you. Okay, I said, well, how is that even possible? When you got a block of rooms, you can give any room to anybody. Needless to say, I was refused. Lucky I ran into a black man that didn't mind driving me home. He was a cab driver, of course. So a lot of times I think these people don't recognize the privileges that they enjoy and what it means. Let me share a video with you.
White privilege. You may not be aware if you have it, but you sure as hell know if you don't. White privilege refers to the benefits white people get from society that people of color don't. It's walking into a store and not being followed on the suspicion you might steal. It's wearing baggy pants and a backwards hat and not being labeled a gangsta. And it's not being harassed by the cops. But what does it mean to you?
I think that white privilege is luxury that white people have of not being judged off top.
You know, it's probably subtle, but with what's happening lately, it's really hard to miss or to think that it doesn't exist, right?
Does nobody care about this kind of stuff? Man?
Yes, they do. I think they do, especially now in terms. You don't?
I really don't. I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Does white privilege exist?
Absolutely.
What is it?
It's the ability to have our kids playing in a park and not get.
Definitely. It's basically a ticket to anything that everybody else is excluded from because of your skin color.
Do you think you benefit from that?
Absolutely.
How so?
I can expect to be treated respectfully, and I can expect to be taken for who I am without people thinking about my skin color often. It's fucked up.
Here's our great.
So white people get it. I think everybody gets it. So when they pretend they don't get it, you know they're bullshitting, right? You understand that? They bullshitting. They know there is a such thing as white privilege. And you see people making jokes about it and stuff on the internet. Well, where's my white privilege? You walk around with it every day. When they see you, they automatically give you all the respect and everything that comes along with that. Prime example, I go on an interview. I'm working with this headhunter. I've passed the test. I've done everything. I'm the candidate. We both go up into the office. I've got on my suit, everything. He's got a suit on also. The reception, when she speaks to him, first she's all excited, like, wow, it's great. You know, we got a nice white guy who's going to come in here and work. And then when he says, I'm basically here to introduce Mr. Robinson. Normally I let my clients come in by themselves, but he's such a spectacular prospect that I wanted to come up here and introduce him. You should have seen the way her face changed. Like I owed her money. Like I was in Money, Mississippi. Like I was something on the bottom of her shoe. And that type of stuff happens to us on a daily basis. So that's what it means when you got white privilege and you're making jokes about it. It's not a joke because it costs us so much. And we're steady trying to integrate ourselves with that system. My goal is to unintegrate, which isn't even a word, but to separate. Open my own business or grow the business I already have so I can leave something for my kids so they'll have something and they won't have to go through the same, because basically we're putting our kids in that same cycle. The same cycle we were put in. And that cycle leaves us in a bad light because the cycle just continues and continues and continues. So I tell kids, yes, go to school, get that education. Hopefully, you may not have to work for these people more than 5 to 7 years. You can start your own business, employ your own people. To be in corporate America for 25 years and things like that, it's a cesspool. And maybe the cesspool allows you to get a little something out of life, but it keeps you just there with a little something. There was another video I wanted to share. I'll share this real quick, and then we're going to close it out.
You know, right now where we are in the world, we really need to work together. And so we have all kinds of folks trying to work together, trying to work against this battle or win that battle or build this community and break down and dismantle, you know, communities that aren't serving us. But what gets in the way every time is race.
There's unconscious bias that's built into our brains because we have really, as human beings for hundreds and thousands of years, absorbed messages about who belongs at the top of the racial hierarchy and who belongs at the bottom.
I was born in Medford, Oregon, and in Medford there were absolutely no people of color within the city limits. So we're 11 years old and I meet another person who then becomes my best friend, and she still is my best friend. And her name was Serena Maria Cruz, right? So Serena, for me, wasn't of color. She was white. So we're graduating, we're signing up for the PSAT to take the test, and this is where we've gone to school together for 5 or 6 years, and we've been to each other's houses, we've had birthday parties, we're all involved in the same gifted program activities, and she's filling out her form and filling out her race. And I'm filling out my form, and I look over at Serena and I see her filling out the bubble for Hispanic. And so I actually reach out and I grab her hand and I pull it up and I tell her, Serena, you're supposed to fill out the white bubble. And she looks at me and she says, look at me, Susie. She says, look at me, like this. And I looked at her and I didn't have any clue what she was talking about. I didn't know what she was talking about. And when I look back now, right, and I think about entitlement, I mean, it's hard for me to even locate where racial entitlement is because everything about my life has been entitlement.
When I use the term codes of power, I'm foremost talking about the reality that culture informs everything that we do. And that most white people, because we live in a country where we see ourselves everywhere in every way, and our culture is validated everywhere and in every way, we don't understand how our cultural values are brought into the classroom. So when a white boy walks in the room, we understand him. We have similar cultural values. We understand how to behave, how to talk, how to respond to one another. If I'm a white woman and he's a white boy, he can see me as his mother. I can see him as my child. That positions him to know not only that he's right in the world, but that he deserves to feel comfortable and that he is really claiming his rightful place in the world to be a leader. A white boy who walks in the room and is animated and moving around and maybe even a little cheeky is smart. And isn't he smart? Isn't he cheeky? He's almost looked at as, well, boys will be boys. A boy of color, especially an African-American boy who walks in the room exhibiting the same behavior, walks in and it's, I might need to keep an eye on him. And that, I really believe, is our internalized racism, that we are afraid of these young boys. And I'm talking young boys, 4 years old and above. And that instead of the teacher looking at him or herself and saying, what is going on with me? That this same behavior creates fear in me instead of admiration. We pathologize the boy of color.
That was a deep piece that I watched, and you can look up the series. It's called Cracking the Codes. They do a lot of in-depth interviews, and as you saw and heard, these people are very aware. So let's cut the shit with white people aren't aware. They are. The second woman says, we see ourselves everywhere, every day. And it's our culture that is being reflected out there. And we look at our white kids in a manner that we don't look at the black kids. We see that white boy and we can see him as our son, and we treat him as he's only stepping up and getting what's rightfully his. He deserves to be a leader. But you can't do that for the black man. When somebody starts telling you bullcrap like, well, it's my perception, and they don't even know you, that's bullshit. So we go on our jobs every day and we deal with that. We go to school. There's racism in the school. Corporate America. Police departments. Courts of law. Prison institutions. It becomes very traumatic to be a black man in America. And like I always say, it's been hell since Obama got in office. And we can't say if it's because of Obama that these people are acting this way. But I'll be damned, it's been the toughest 8 years of my life. Just wanted to throw that out. We gonna end it. Everybody have a good evening. I'm gonna leave you with love, peace. So, we out.
I'm so glad to have you with us today. It's so special for us to be together and for the whole world to see. Yes. Yeah, to see you and to thank you for all of the contributions, not just with your poetry and with your literature, but with all of the contributions you've made through the civil rights movements the countries that you've lived in, Africa, all over the world, the different languages that you speak, and the dances that you did. All of those things has been so impressionable, and we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here. Also, but for one, I wanted to talk to you and to my children about some of the criticisms. You know, I'm sorry to say, some black people laugh at the heroes and sheroes they have, and say that's an Uncle Tom, that's an Aunt Jemima. You don't stop to wonder how that black man's throat must have been closing on him each time he said, "Yes, sir, boss, I sure must be stupid," so he could go home and feed somebody. Or that black woman who said, "No, ma'am, Miss Ann, you didn't hurt my feelings, because I ain't tender-hearted just because you slapped me. No, ma'am." So she could go home and send somebody to Fisk. Or Howard. Or Tuscaloosa. So I wrote a poem for a woman who got on the bus in New York City, and she used to just laugh. If the bus stopped, she'd laugh. If it picked up somebody, she'd laugh. If it missed them, I looked at her and I thought, that woman is not laughing. She's simply extending her lips and making a sound. That's that survival apparatus. Laugh when you aren't tickled and scratch when you don't itch. So she could keep my people alive. So I wrote a poem for her. I used it with Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem Mask and my own poem for Old Black Men. This is it. When I think about myself, I almost laugh myself to death. My life has been one great big joke. A dance that's walked, a song that spoke. I laugh so hard, I nearly choke when I think about myself. 70 years in these folks' world, the child I works for calls me girl. And I say, yes, ma'am, for working sake. I'm too proud to bend, too poor to break. I laugh so hard, my stomach aches when I think about myself. My folks can make me split my side. I laughed so hard I nearly died. The tales they tell sound just like lying. They grow the fruit, but eat the rind. I laugh so hard, I start to crying when I think about myself and the little children. But then we wear the mask. That grins and lies. It shades our cheeks and hides our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts, we smile and mouth myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh my God, our tears to thee from tortured souls arise. And we sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile. But let the world think otherwise. We wear the mask. My fathers sit on benches. Their flesh count every plank. The slats leave dents of darkness deep in their withered flank, and they nod like broken candles, all waxed and burnt profound. They say, but sugar, it was our submission that made your world go round. They laughed to shield their crying. They shuffled through their dreams. They stepped and fetched a country and wrote the blues and screams. I understand their meaning. It could and did derive from living on the ledge of death. They kept my race alive by wearing the mask. Wearing the mask. Wearing the... Oh. That's my people. That's my people. What? Look at the people I come from. That's love, kids. It's not indulgence. It's not sentimentality. It's not mush. That's love. Yes, ma'am. Shariba.
Doctor, I'm just overwhelmed. We both heard Mr. Joel Osteen talking about people and how we do each other. And what was your interpretation of that, Doctor?
Well, it's true. We sometimes think we can be better than another person. The truth is, no human being can be more human than another human being. You can be younger and prettier and finer and richer, but you can't be more human. And to try to denigrate, to bring somebody down, why? Why? each time you do that, you're going down. In order to keep a person down, you got to be down there with him. Yeah. So the best thing to say is, I liberate you from my ignorance. Bring peace in your heart whenever you go, anywhere. Just decide, I'm taking peace. I'm not going to wait till I get there to make it. You understand? It's my prayer for you, and I thank you for your love.